it's Reagan and today I'm here to film a book review for the Perusetopia Book Club pick for the month of January, which is Curio by Eveline Denmark. And for this video I'm working with HarperCollins, just so everyone knows. So Curio is kind of an amazing hybrid novel. It is a young adult fantasy, but it also has some very interesting historical setting twists. The plot is kind of complicated, but definitely my favorite part of this book, so I'm just gonna go ahead and explain the setting and what's happening in this book. So this novel follows our main character, Gray, and she lives in a western town that is controlled by magic-turned chemists. And her town is special in the fact that there was a disease or some type of mutation to the residents' genes that allows them to not be able to consume food. They eat something and they immediately vomit it up, which they call the starvation gene. So these chemists concocted a potion that the people have to drink every single day so they can survive. And because they have created the vital necessity for people to live, they've also possess a lot of power within the society and have a lot of rules that don't make a lot of sense. It's very, very interesting. It's a really cool alternative Western chemist type of setting. It's very, very interesting, but there's much more to it than that. So our character, Gray, kind of stands out in this town. She's much taller, she's much stronger than a lot of the people because a lot of people have these starvation genes, and she's a little stronger and her whole family's a little stronger, but she doesn't quite know why. But then a series of events happens involving her friend Wit that gets him in trouble and also her in trouble, so she escapes and kind of finds out about her family's destiny. And by escapes, her family essentially sends her to the Curio case inside of her father's store, her grandfather and father's store. So this is the second part of the setting. This Curio case is essentially a giant doll city in which now she is having to figure out and navigate. So we have this Western society that she's in, but then she goes to this Curio case, which is a steampunk historical society. It's so cool. And it sounds complicated, but I promise it's not difficult to follow at all. In fact, I really, really loved the settings for both places that she's in this novel. I find them to be very, very rich and very, very interesting. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. So she's in these two settings. She has a destiny that she's trying to figure out, and she has to interact with both these environments to basically save the day, or start or try to save the day. So this novel obviously follows our main character, Gray, as I've mentioned in the synopsis, and I really, really like her. She's kind of conventional in some ways, she's strong, but she doesn't know about her secret past, but she's very loyal. I like that she's physically large, for some reason she's not a slight girl, she's very tall, she's very Scandinavian Viking-esque, and she's brave and willing to do things for people that she cares about, and I find that to be quite commendable, and that has something to do with her destiny as well, so a lot of it's explained, which I really appreciate. Other characters that are really cool, my other sets of characters that I liked the best in this series are the Curio dolls, because they're alive in this Curio case. There's all these dolls and it's so interesting, and the doll society is fascinating. They're obsessed with beauty and not breaking because they're porcelain dolls, so if they break, they're no longer beautiful. It's very interesting, so I really like that dynamic as well. As I mentioned in describing this plot, my favorite part of the book for sure had to be the settings. We literally had two settings that I would have bought an individual book for. The first one being this alternate Western society controlled by chemists, which is explored throughout the entire novel. While Gray is stuck in the Curio cabinet, we follow another character who's trying to deal with the politics that's happening in their town. So you're in both settings for the whole book. But then we also have this Curio case setting full of porcelain dolls in a weird historical time period that's very steampunk, but very unusual, and it's just very interesting. I've said the word very interesting a lot, but I really feel that way. So by far my favorite parts of the book was definitely that. This novel was extremely fast-paced. I had no problem reading through this. It's 400 pages long, but I read it in two settings. It is a very fun read. The flaws of this novel, I will say, some of the lore, especially of our back history, needs to be explained just a tad more, which I think we're gonna get into later books and stuff like that. I kind of wanted some more explanation as to where her family come from, which we get, but I wanted more, if that makes sense. And I also would like more explanation about the chemists themselves, these people who are in power, and that might be because I find them to be very, very interesting. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed this book. I found it to be unique. Like, I've definitely never read a YA novel with this type of settings, either with the dolls or the Western setting that like this was. So the fact I got 2 unique settings in one novel I found to be very refreshing. Some of the plot points were a little conventional. We had some, you know, stereotypical YA moments, but I honestly kind of expected that. I expect that when I go into any YA novel, but overall, it was good. I gave it 3.5 stars. I'm excited to see where the series takes us next. I like the strong friendships and the strong ties to family that was present in this book. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, if you're interested in more spoilerly thoughts, again, we have our live show that's going to be on January 29th, this upcoming Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern time over on Sasha's channel. Let me know down below your thoughts if you've read along with us this month. I would love to know. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon with another video soon. Goodbye!